I'm having an incredible relationship right now, so it's fun that this comes up because it's pretty easy for me to talk about. There's three things that I think are really important to a relationship, and so I'll share what's happening here. There's this woman in my life, and we're together, and we're together, and we're together, and it's strange. It's so easy. We laugh all the time. We just laugh most of the time. It's very fun, very simple, and I think it's because of these three things I'm going to talk about. One is that I don't have expectations for her. Um, I don't expect her to do something she doesn't want to do. I don't expect her to be something she isn't. I don't expect her to have an experience of any kind other than the one she's having. And I don't expect her to know something she doesn't know or to want to know something she doesn't care about. The reason that's the case is because expectations are painful for me. It's absolutely selfish why I don't expect her to be any different than she is. And then I notice that I can see her because there's nothing in the way. There's not an expectation that blocks my experience of her. She's so funny. She's that one. She's that one over there, and I really get to see it. I notice I don't know who she is in that way. I notice I don't have a story about her. I don't even expect her to be consistent in any way. And there's just so much laughter. There's so much fun because of that. It's really amazing. I'm not trying to craft her into a future something. It's like, wow, what are you? I look into her eyes very often and go, what the fuck? Who are you? Oh, it's very beautiful. It's very fresh. No story, only freshness. So no expectation seems to be very helpful. 2, mutual self-interest. All relationships, business, interpersonal, the world, are greatly benefited by mutual self-interest and nothing else. So in this way, when I want to do something and Sandra also wants to do it, then we mutually are interested in the same thing. This is something she would do if I wasn't there. This is something I would do if she wasn't there. Well then, oh my God, you're just sharing that perfect joy of authentic interest. When she wants to do something I don't want to do, I don't pretend for a second I want to do it. Because she doesn't need me. And I don't need her to join me in anything I'm doing. It's fascinating how simple that is. So basically, the relatingship part of it happens only in this place where we actually want to be there. And we don't pretend we don't want to be doing something we don't give a shit about. She doesn't need me and I don't need her. We want to be together, but only in this place where we're absolutely interested, personally. It's very simple. So the other way this could look is somebody gives up something they want to do because the other person wants to be with them, and so then they sacrifice a little bit of their own interest. They feel obligated, so they pretend in some way to be interested, or they try to fake a value that's higher than their own interest, like, well, I love this person, so I should do this. And then later on, down the road, and if you've had relationships in your life, you know this happens, there's resentment because I lied to myself because I thought I needed that other person's approval. And then I resent them because I lied, even though the resentment ends up just being my anger at myself for having lied. So mutual self-interest only. No sacrifices. And people that say, oh, you have to sacrifice in a relationship, are people who haven't yet discovered what freedom really is. And it's not their fault. They can't help it. You have to sacrifice in a relationship. Bullshit, because you actually don't need the other person. You never have to sacrifice. I notice I do things because I want to be with her, not because I have to be. That's huge, the difference in that. The third thing is that the body is part of the relationship, and so if there's not some kind of physical satisfaction, and I don't just mean you have to bang it out all the time and the sex has to be amazing. It's great when it is. But you don't. It doesn't. It's not. That's not necessary because great relationships happen between people when the sex is no longer part of it. But there needs to be, seemingly, there needs to be some kind of appreciation for the form, for the animal, some kind of care, whether it's massage or affection of some kind, or the body needs attention. It really does. And it can be so simple how to take care of the body. So the body, in this body and that body, it is absolutely beneficial that they meet in some way that is mutually agreeable. And that seems to be, especially in romantic relationships, that's the reason you're there. There's some partnership, there's some companionship, but the difference between friendships and romance is that the body is involved. So it's finding a way to have healthy, enjoyable, playful, mutually satisfying body experiences together, not necessarily sexual. Just some kind of play that allows the bodies to be involved and allows laughter to occur, and that's very beneficial. Because being a human being, being in a body obviously is tough. Sometimes it has its moments of pain and struggle and tiredness and soreness. So when Sandra comes home and I rub her feet or rub her back, and she rubs my head, or you don't know. I love you know when it comes up because it's such a silly thing to say. You don't know. I'm the one talking. When, the shower, you don't know. This is good. I like the training of it. Because when I say what I'm hoping is that you'll get my point. And that's painful. I know that. I can feel it. Do you get it? Ouch. So it doesn't matter what you get. The bodies seem to be beneficial in the way that if they're mutually satisfied, cared for, loved. And so all the body stuff, like what's noticed in this relationship, which is fascinating, is that there's nothing that's really off limits in the bodying. Pee and poop and fart and burp, and that's what the body does. Why let that be an issue at all? Why be somewhere where you have to think about that, or be with somebody that where that has to be yeah, it's just so fun where that has to be that's a concern, don't really be a body. Be this sweet thing it's like, be a fucking mammal and then we'll hang out. It's just so cool. It's so cool. So no expectations, mutual self-interest, and mutually satisfying experiences of the body. That seems to be incredibly beneficial for the relationship, romantic relationships. Seemingly all relationships, but most, romantic relationships especially. That's it. That's all the notes. I'm in the middle of living a relationship, so I just get to keep learning, and this is the easiest fucking time I've ever had. It's so fucking simple. No expectations is amazingly relaxing. So good luck. Enjoy. I'd love to hear what happens.